It was a time of exploring, discovering, and experimenting.
We wanted to lead away from the total materialistic scientific direction we've gone, because we didn't think we had enough wisdom yet to deal with the technology that we've developed. And I'd say events have proven us correct.
Hippie, a movement often associated with peace, psychedelic drugs, and groovy music. But it was much more than that.
The movement that happened back in the 60s and 70s, and it was largely a reaction to the propaganda deluge of the 50s, of the father knows best and leave it to beaver type of, we're all going to be standardized little white bread kind of people. So
we're all conditioned by, well, first and foremost family, but for many people religion is a very strong conditioning factor, certainly nation state, where we're born, gender, and sometimes those categories don't fit who we are.
And for Paul and Sephora, they decided to explore who they were on Gabriola Island in the early 70s. With a piece of land, a dirt shack, and borrowed change to their name, they began a new life for themselves on the West Coast.
And being a hippie was a wonderful way to do it, because it implied this sense of freedom from the past or from the known.
The couple was of many hippies that came to Gabriola during the 70s.
The island was already going through some changes. A number of people were coming to buy summer homes here. The land was being subdivided. So the island itself was going through a lot of changes. At the same time that waves of hippies came and decided this was a real paradise, a place to go back to the land, to grow their own crops, to get out of the city.
It was a giant learning experience for everyone, because most of us had just grown up with the usual electricity and running water.
The family went without electricity for 4 years and running water for 5. Their house was built by their own hands, and since there was no building code yet, they built it by their standards.
It was very communal, cooperative. People helped each other build their houses. They all went tree planting together for cash and came home and lived in a almost cashless economy.
And perhaps it was the lack of funds that brought families closer together. Paul remembers sharing cars with neighbors. They had a food cooperative because it wasn't affordable or accessible to purchase from a store.
People used to remark you couldn't tell on the street where any of the property boundaries were, and there were paths from every house to every other house.
There was a tribal feeling, and we did come together a lot at potlucks, and the musicians would sing all their songs about coming back to the land or coming together, and it was just this feeling that we were sharing this together.
And the sense of community helped unfold a lot of institutions on the island during the 80s.
Taylor Bay Lodge became the Haven, which is a worldwide, well-known retreat center now. The Commons is a really lovely, active, community-based, commonly held land where there are social services there are community gardens, there are community events and fairs.
Even though it's no longer the 70s, the hippie values of its pioneers remain strong on Gabriola Island.
I always wanted to maintain my roots as a hippie. I never wanted to lose that sense of radical self-inquiry and just questioning of societal structures.
On Gabriola Island, I'm Rae-Anne the plant.
Oh yeah,
You're talking to me.
I'm talking to you.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
What the heck?
Have I seen you somewhere?
I think so.